Welcome back to our next lesson of Etsy Profits Generator. In this lesson, I'm going to be teaching you all about making your own great designs. Let's go ahead and get started. I really like this quote from Sean Patrick Flannery. It says, "Do something today that your future self will thank you for." And this is what we're talking about here. Is actually all this groundwork that we're laying here for our business, where your future self is going to actually thank you for what you're doing now over and over and over again. So I just wanted to share that with you. So let's get into making your own great designs. So here are some of the many ways that you can do to create your own images and designs. Now this is just going to be a quick overview, and I'm going to get into each of these specifically in their own lessons. So the first one is using royalty-free images. So like we talked about copywriting, that we have options where there are free images that we can use, and then we can take those ones that have the royalty free, and then we can add stuff to it to make them our own designs. Another way is to purchase or getting the image use rights that we talked about in the copyright lesson as well. And I'm going to show you in a separate lesson how we can go and find different things that we can purchase to be able to have those rights and not have to even worry about created because it's already created. Another way, and I love this one, I'm going to teach you a whole bunch of different software that we can use to create our images and designs, and it's a lot of fun to be able to do this, and I'm going to have a whole lesson on that. And then also, you can use paid outsourcing, and that just means basically you're hiring someone to do the work for you, and we have a few ways that we can do that as well. First of note, I want to make sure we talk about image requirements. So here are some important things you need to know when you're creating your own images. Now do realize that as we do different products, besides just the mugs that we're doing now, they will all have their different size image requirements, all right? And I'll show you how we can find that. But for now, since we're going to be focusing on the ceramic mugs, the printable area is this: 3 inches by 3.5 inches. Therefore, at 300 DPI, as you can see before, it's dots per inch, this image would be 900 px by 1050 px. Now, px stands for pixels. All right, so I don't want to confuse you here, but just know as we're creating things and as you're having someone do it for you, this is the minimum. We don't want to go any worse than 300 DPI, and we don't want to go any worse than 900 pixels by 1050 pixels, and that is for that 3 by 3.5 design mug. Now this will all make sense as we get into it. I just want you to know these numbers because most of the time we're going to be doing more than that, but we don't want to ever do worse than that. And I'll show you the reason why. And here's why. Because when you understand what a pixel is, then you understand what the quality is and how the DPI makes a whole difference. All right, so a digital photo is not one non-dividable thing. All right, so if you actually zoom in far enough, and maybe you've seen this when you've taken pictures and you zoom in on it, and people call it pixelated, right? It gets pixelated because this is what happens. You actually see the dots, the DPI that it was created. So if you can zoom in far enough, you can see how the image is created. It's all based on dots per inch. All right, so right there, as I zoomed in on this picture, you can see, well, we can't tell what the image is, but you can see how it is all made up of pixels. It's an image like a mosaic formed by small tiles, all right? So this is where the whole thing of pixels comes from, which in photography is called pixels. So now you know that you've probably seen this before. If you heard the term pixelated, this is why, all right? So this is why we want to make sure we have the correct quality, because if you try to take a bad quality image and you try to put it onto something like a mug or a t-shirt or whatever else you're trying to create, you'll see the difference. You'll know the difference between a quality mug, a quality t-shirt, a quality product design compared to one that is not quality. So very important. I just want to make sure you understand those numbers, and when we're creating other things, that you understand the minimum and you always go above it. And that gets us into quality images. So always choose the best quality for your products. We never want to go worse than the minimum, like I said in the last slide, right? And the larger the pixels, the better the quality of the image. So the more that we can do, the better. In fact, when I have designs created or I purchase designs, I try to get it at the best quality picture I can, because even though on a mug it won't make so much of a difference, if I want to take that same image later and say blow it up to a t-shirt, I need to have better quality. All right, so if I can start with better quality up front, it's always good to do that. Never go less than the minimum recommended DPI or pixel requirements. Sometimes it's called resolution, just so you know. All right, so we always want to do better quality. So it's very important that we understand this before moving on to the lessons where we're creating images. So what's next? Using free and paid images to create designs. So I look forward to catching you in the next lesson. See you then.